5 minutes, and that's being very gracious of
With
you.
all the He gets 5 minutes.
That's it. We talked to you a couple times, yeah, I've been really.
First of all, let me congratulate all of you on the passage of yesterday's budget.
Thank you to all the voters.
I'm going to give those present a printed copy of our outcome report. We will be referring to it this morning, and it's for your
Thank you.
entertainment pleasure in the future, and I can leave a copy
Yeah.
for Jean, Cindy, and Justin.
You can leave it with me.
With you?
Yep, absolutely. I will make sure they get them. I won't hold them all.
Yeah, we each get one, and then there should be 3 there.
You got it.
Okay. Very briefly, when in February 22, when referendum for the Academy building passed, Board of Selectmen created 2 committees. We are the advisory committee, composed of 9 members, 3 town staff and 6 public members. I want to commend Peggy and the Board of Selectmen for the composition of the committee, including the town staff, because everyone has contributed very favorably. We have worked seamlessly together. There's also a building committee that's separate, and that is currently in session, working with the architect and OPM to design the structure of the building. I handed out a printed copy of our report. If you look at the page with the big circles on it, page 3. In order to keep this written report brief, we included on the digital copy a number of hyperlinks where people can go. At the bottom of this page, the digital copy is available at madisonct.org/academy advisory. We have met since September. We met between September and the end of March weekly. And if you recall, our first objective was to assess the public's preferred preferences for activities in the building. And that was carried out through the public survey between about Thanksgiving and mid-January. We successfully obtained 2,049 responses, for which I want to credit everyone on the committee, but in particular Lisa Lee, who was here.
She's everywhere.
Our Energizer Bunny, and spearheaded our public outreach report, our public outreach effort. So when we're here, you'll see our first stage was to find community interest. On this hyperlink, you will find the survey itself and the results, some of which are in this document. Where you jump to.
Mhm.
Following that, we held Zoom focus groups with potential. This is the purple, the second big circle. We held Zoom focus groups with potential user groups in the areas of performance. These are areas that achieve very high percentages of endorsement on the public survey. We found that overall, the public wants meeting space. People want to convene, they want to get together, they want meetings, they want presentations. Very strong interest in cultural arts, performing arts, theater, music, dance. Strong interest in studio art, painting, drawing. Surprisingly, 643 people want to have pottery lessons. So we're looking into having a kiln in the building, which is yet to be decided. And then we did culinary cooking. Over 700 people want to have cooking lessons. So the design of the kitchen, the equipment in the kitchen is very important. All this information we have passed on to the building committee, and it is their task now to incorporate this with the architect and the OPM in making final decisions about what features are going to be in this building. We've emphasized over and over that what we have here are recommendations and expressed interest only. There are no guarantees. There will be structural issues in the building to be considered, and certainly budgetary issues that may It certainly will influence how far we can go in implementing all of this. At the back of this is critically important. You will see a fold out, an 11 by 17 inch fold out. That correlates with the previous pages where there's that part. A diagram of all 3 floors of the building. I'll warn you now, this is not a quick read. This requires study. And I'm going to ask the person who designed this, John Lambrand, to briefly, John, I think you have about a minute to review. But the point is for them to know what's here so they can take it home and study. Sure.
Thank you, thanks, John.
The layout of the mapping makes use of the 2019 draft floor plan that was done by QA and it was the best that we had at the time, and the structure of the building, because of the nature of how it's done, it's going to remain pretty close to the same. So what we did was we mapped the needs of the community and the priorities of the community to the various rooms that were in that 2019 plan. And you'll see there's a dot for where those activities that the town had requested. If you look at the top, there's a number of important rows that I think are most important to this group, which are the activities that are dedicated. In other words, where they can be only used for that and not for other things.
That would be the D there in the top column.
And I think the good news is there's not too many that are sole use rooms. There's a lot of flexibility, a lot of versatility in the layout. The second one gets to, is there a potential for revenue in those activities? And it's broken into 2 pieces. One is what the R's are the ones that can potentially generate revenue. No feel for exactly how much, but and then the other ones, the S's, are ones where, like exhibit space, where it could be shared revenue with the sale of a piece of art or something like that. So those are identifying where the areas that we could generate some income from the activities that are going on in the communities. Underneath that is the rank of the preference of the community for each of those activities. And I think the good news is that a very large proportion of the high ranked items are also things that have potential for revenue generation. And then the last row is how many of the rooms in the facility potentially can provide coverage for that particular activity. And the intent there is to make sure that, first of all of the activities could be covered. And as we take a look at the budget and the architectural constraints, which are the things that we would hesitate to pull out because there's no other place for that to go.
I know the members of your committee have expressed questions about potential revenue generation, and which is why we have Austin Hall here and Scott Cochran from Beach and Rec, and both of them played critical roles in getting the interest survey out, both to the elderly population and if you have questions about potential future programming and revenue generation, they're here to answer.
And the last thing I will point out is there's a column called user features, which is the feedback that came from the user groups
Where is that?
all the way at the end.
Oh, God, oh, yeah, yeah. Well, key user.
That's the feedback that came from the user group about what things they would want to see in the rooms in order to feel that they could make use.
I'm just gonna say a couple words and if the board has any questions.
This for your to take home and further study.
And that, yeah,
And by all means, go on the website and check out the hyperlinks. Thanks to John Lambrand again, he included those. So there's a great deal of more detailed information that we did not want to include in the printed document. So
right. So I was again by thanking you, and I'm glad we ran into each other and to being here and presenting this to the board. Very good job. And to all the volunteers, all the time you put in, that makes a big difference. I had a quick question for John. The rank, as you said, the higher the number, the more that was what the community wanted. And it looks like over 2,000 results, so you got a decent amount of community input, so I really do appreciate it. Of course, we'll have you come back after we digest this and go through this, but this is nice, and I do appreciate it.
We're here.
Thank you. I
And
really
some of
do.
the numbers associated with those ranks are earlier in the printed report as well.
I just noticed that my comments weren't in there. I wanted a hockey rink, but it didn't. It's all right. I'm just kidding. Thank you, everybody. Any questions, Fillmore?
Yeah, just wanted to make one comment, the fact that you had over 2,000 responses, I believe it was. That's almost twice what the turnout was yesterday.
I didn't want to mention that. No more. I know.
Well,
We didn't have Lisa and me.
Well, at least not for it.
so does that say something to us about the, how much the town of Madison thinks about academy versus, oh, I don't know, money? So anyway, well done on getting the inputs.
Across the board of all 9 members on the committee, we made very concerted efforts to be out there in the community and at all kinds of events and newspaper articles, and media, and recently was our driving force on.
I think the other indicator is the number of written comments that came back was a high percentage as well, which says not only were they taking the survey, but they were engaged. So,
And to defend the Madison public, that survey was probably open a little bit longer than, 14 hours, but so great job, everyone. Kate?
Yeah, I just want to echo my other board members. Thank you so much. This is obviously,
Very nice.
yeah, it's, as we looked at this, community centers can mean a lot of different things. So, it's really nice to get a good sampling and from a lot of stakeholders in the town, which, is really exciting. I know, having the youth in our town engaged, in something like this and in a building that presumably they will also use, I think is really super helpful. So
Scott
thank you
arranged
for
with DJ Salutary to have school time dedicated to the students filling this out, so.
well, and having 2 high school students, I can tell you, Scott, they appreciated being asked and engaged. They really are the future of our town and they will be primary stakeholders in this building. So it's nice. And I'm glad to know we're gonna have these guys back because I'm sure there will be questions after we're able to go through this report, but
Great job.
very exciting. Thank you.
Justin, I'm gonna break the rules today. If you need to ask a question, since I have to put my glasses on to see if you're raising your hand, just shout it out.
No, thank you. I will raise my hand if I have something to say. And just since I don't have the pamphlet in front of me, I'll reserve my questions about the pool to a later date.
I'm with you, Justin.
We'll have them come back.
I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you, John. I'll raise my hand.
Well,
Thank you,
and
everyone.
indoor mini golf.
Oh, that's great. That could happen. It happens in the library.
I see it all over.
Well, we wanted to make sure that whatever ends up being in the community is really representative of the community's expressed preferences. And if we don't do that, then
Won't succeed.
it's not going to succeed.
Sure.
We have to be very responsive to what people want.
I can't wait. to
And the
read it all.
revenue generating is kind of important too.
Well,
Yeah.
we're on board with
For
it.
us.
For us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, thank you.
Great day. Any finance committee member comments? Fillmore?
Just very quick one. In terms of a liaison report,
Go.
the pension committee is meeting right now as we speak. And I was able to sit in for the first few minutes of it this morning. The quick bottom line is that apparently they all are softened and all did reasonably well in the first quarter. And if you can recall that far back, just about everybody did well in the first quarter. But things are on track to keep doing well.
Any other reports there? Fillmore?
No, that's.
Katie?
I attended the school building committee meeting on Monday and the Monday previous. They are working really hard to find efficiencies. And there'll be much more to come. I'm sure we'll have them here as well.
Thank you.
Unless it's finalized.
Thanks.
And the library has some really exciting events coming up. I just want to plug really
Go
quick.
ahead.
because I
Are you kidding
did
me?
go-
I mean, you gotta follow Fillmore.
I know. I don't want to let Fillmore down with the library. But they are having a Madison Shops event coming up. They're also hosting their first ever summer camp this summer, which is pretty cool. So check that out. And they are having their used book sale coming up this weekend. So please attend. That's it for me.
Thank both of you for attending the meeting. Justin, anything?
Nothing, John. Thank you.
Thank you. We have our first selectman, Peggy Lyons.
Hey, well, first of all, just want to say thank you again for all the hard work in getting the budget through to referendum. I know it was a real effort, a bipartisan effort by the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, CIP, so we're excited to pass. Unfortunately, the turnout was 8.9%. That's 2 percentage points lower than last year, which was still pretty meager. But the good thing is that, both budgets passed around 64% in favor. So at least when people are coming out, they're expressing their support. So we're excited about that. Other updates, strategic plan. Your board needs to, did you finalize who's going to be on the strategic planning committee?
It's supposed to be the chair, is that correct?
Well, the preferences and other,
Yes.
but if it's not working.
It'll be the chair if something happens. then-
Okay. So there's a couple of things that your members of your board will be invited to attend focus groups or possible one-on-one interviews. So you might be hearing from our consultant that they're going to reach out, S-Brands. And I think most of you are probably on the list for one-on-one interviews. They'll be soon. So they'll be at your convenience. So you might be hearing from somebody over the next couple of weeks to schedule that. They're actually going to be coming to Madison the week of June 5th, and we're going to be having a community visioning session on June 6th. And so that's an opportunity for the public to give feedback. There's going to be in-person focus group scheduled that week. We've also just launched the survey, so I encourage everybody to participate in the survey. We're hoping to get the Academy people to push the survey as well, but we want to beat the 2,000. So that's my goal here, is to beat the 2,000 in terms of responses for the survey. I'll bring back here some flyers for you guys, so you have it. There's a QR code that takes you right to it. So it's important to get the word out on that.
We got the
the third-
postcard in the mail yesterday and it was really helpful.
Oh, you got, wait, there's a postcard in the.
We got a postcard in the mail
Mailing, I didn't.
Only
realize
Katie
it was
got
gonna-
and there's questions on the back,
Yeah.
so you can return the
I didn't check
postcard too if you're not comfortable doing the
Right.
online survey.
Yeah,
What ages are you hoping
I mean, if you want everybody,
anybody who
anybody can
lives
fill
in
it out.
town?
Yeah, anybody who lives in town. It's trying to do a lot. So, we also worked with the Plan of Conservation Development. They added some kind of land use oriented questions, so you'll see that on there. It takes about 15 minutes to fill out. And then it's due by June 15th. So that is in the works. And then I think the other thing is Katie touched upon is this new school building committee is going to be reporting to the Board of Selectmen on Monday night. Obviously, they've been working hard on the budget. We know that we do have some overages on that budget because of inflation and construction costs. So the board is going to start talking about what our options are to deal with that and kind of where we're going to come out on that. So that'll be the first step in a couple of conversations about what steps the town needs to take to address that for the new school. So try to attend that if you can, but certainly it'll be coming to your board in June, a conversation about that. So, and that is kind of, and then I just want to highlight another thing is we got news yesterday, the town applied for 2 grants through the Congressional Directed Spending Program. And we were put on the list to go to the Appropriations Committee. One was for $4 million for Academy. Which would be phenomenal if we get that. So that's addition to the $4 million we got from the state. I will say one of the things that helped us get that is the social services component of the building. I think the multi-purpose strategy that we've gone with has helped us tap into different funds for that building. So there's no guarantees. It's got to get through appropriation process, but it's a really good positive thing when you get on that list that actually goes to the committee. So thankful to both Senator Murphy and Senator Blumenthal for their support on that. Secondly, was an application that Scott Cochran put in for his police position that the board opted to wait on to see if we could get some grants. That also was part of this federal application process through, and that got on the list as well. So fingers crossed, we all know there's a lot going on in Washington, but the good thing is that, you know, there's momentum there, and that would be incredible if we could get both of those grants approved, so. So we can't spend it yet, but we can at
It's a good
least keep our
start.
eye on it, so that's my update.
Questions for the first one?
Yeah, very quickly, you mentioned, there's a board of selectmen meeting Monday. You said, this coming Monday, when you said you were gonna be, bringing up these things. There's also a town meeting Monday, I believe.
Yes, there is, yeah.
So town meeting comes first and then your meeting.
Yeah, and the town meeting is for the approval of the $3.5 million for CIP. And then I think pension fund, is that one? And the pension fund, $1 million for the pension fund.
The fireman's pension.
Yeah, yes, that's a town meeting that goes before a meeting, so. So hopefully those will go through smoothly. And then our board meeting will include the new school building committee will report back to us where they are. Because I know they came to us a couple months ago. Now they've got more refined numbers to where they're coming out of the budget for the project.
Any other questions for the first select?
No, just thank you for, I mean, these grants are a huge deal.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, very, very exciting. Thank you.
So Dustin doesn't have any comments. Citizens comment, maybe the public would like to speak. Second time. Anybody there? Third time. Public information sessions closed. Discuss and take action to set the mill rate for fiscal 24. Discussion of the state revenue included in the mill rate calculation. So the board, we have a state revenue, which included in the budget, the amount of $477,280 in the mill rate calculation. I'd like to see that in the form of a motion, please.
Okay, I would move that that we include the state revenue in the amount of $477,280 in the mill rate calculation.
Motion made by Fillmore,
Second.
seconded by Katie. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye, or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstention, that motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that the Board of Finance allocate $500,000 from the fund balance to reduce the amount of to be raised by taxes this coming year.
Motion by Board of Finance member Fillmore McPherson to use $500,000 from the fund balance to offset the mill rate. Is there a second? Second by Katie. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you, Justin. Opposed, abstentions, that motion carries. Continue, Fillmore, you're on a roll.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the Board of Finance set the 23-24 tax collection rate at 98.75%. And that be used to set the mill rate calculation.
Motion made by Fillmore to use the 98.75% rate to use the set the mill rate calculation. That was in the form of a motion. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Second by Justin and Katie. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, abstention, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, considering all the above, I move that we set the mill rate for the coming 23-24 year at 29.97
Motion made,
mills.
motion made by Fillmore for fiscal 24 to set the mill rate at 29.97 mils. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Motion was made by Fillmore, seconded by Katie. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed, abstention, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, we are required by law to acknowledge the amount of help that we've gotten from the state. And so in compliance, I would move that in compliance with the state law requiring that the tax bills that get sent out indicate the number of mills the anticipated state revenue would equate to. This year, the bills would show 30.12 mills.
Without the state revenues, we're saying.
Without the state revenue would be 0.15 mills higher. But it's gonna be,
Oh,
we would
Would
have
have
been,
been 30.1,
it would have been 30.12.
and we did do that in form of a motion, so that was a motion.
That was a
Thank you.
motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion, thank you. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
abstention, that motion carries. Thank you, Fillmore, excellent job.
Excellent job.
Right.
Couldn't
Okay,
have done that without. the
I was gonna say something about the state rep.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
right? That's what we're all thinking.
Discuss and take action to approve routine line item transfers for fiscal 23. Totaling $479,415.53. 10,300 pending board of selectmen approval, so it's 469,115.53 approved by the board of selectmen on 5/9/23. Get that in form of a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Fillmore, discussion.
A lot of this came from the police department, so I compliment the chief on juggling all of his
Within his
accounts,
budget.
things in his budget.
Any comments or discussion further? Seeing on all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, extension? That motion carries. Item 9, discuss and take action to approve a special appropriation to the legal services account amount of $50,000 pending the board of selectmen approval in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Fillmore. Discussion.
What is it for, John?
Sorry, Justin, go ahead.
I was just saying, can do we know what it's for? Can someone describe what it's for?
I was just gonna say that, Justin, so Peggy's here, and we're hoping to carry through to the,
Well, this is actually two items that we've talked about before. One is relating to the police department, and then we also had some land use litigation that has been kind of hit the account a little bit earlier than we anticipated. So I think last time, there's no new matters, but you had a detailed spreadsheet before that went through all this. It's just, we tried to do a forecast and we were just off, unfortunately. So we're gonna be better about our forecasts.
so Justin, it's for the PD and land use.
Yes, thank you.
Any other discussion or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions, that motion carries. So discuss and take action to approve a special appropriation to the revaluation reserve fund account, in the amount of $225,000 pending board of selectmen approval. Take that motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second, I would like to.
Yes, sure. Second.
Okay.
Any discussion?
I think this is something,
Go ahead, Fillmore.
No,
Oh, good.
I would like to.
Peggy, I think it would like.
yeah, I mean, this is something we planned for, knowing we're in a revaluation year, but I think in conversations with Stacy, given this year's revaluation, we just want to be extra prepared that we might get a higher level of appeals than we had in the past. So we thought it was prudent to put more money into the reserve.
So it's just a contingency in
Yeah.
case we have increased
Yeah.
appeals, which were.
And I think that they're seeing that across the state as everybody goes through this, so we just wanna, so that next year not we're having to do a special, then we've got money set aside and they can go through their appeals process.
And if we don't use it,
It comes back,
goes
it comes back,
It would, or stay in the reserve.
or, yeah, right, because we're always putting in money to this reserve fund.
When does the reval end?
Well, it's for this grant that's coming up in October,
Gotcha.
so notices will be going out in the fall for it'll end this fall. Yeah,
And then
Everything in
the
my
appeal
house.
process will start in is it January.
yeah, February, I think. is
February,
when-
sorry, right after.
Yeah.
Gentleman was very kind, very nice, so
Well, and I think that.
it was
kind of.
effortless.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But I think the forecasting before had been on, past costs, past volume, and you just wanted to be prepared.
Any unofficial ideas of how much is gonna be changing up or down?
No, we haven't had those discussions. I think we all know it'll go up. The question is, really, everybody understands that means that the mill rate actually might be going down. Guilford actually saw a reduction in the mill rate because of that. So I think it's gonna be more nuanced individual property owners. Everybody's probably gonna have an uplift, but some may see a greater increase than others.
Any other questions or discussions on the motion?
No.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That's that motion carries. We have acceptance of 5,000 monetary donation from the Madison Foundation and Neighbor to Neighbor for Madison residents in need approved by the Board of Selectmen on 5923. We get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second, motion made by Katie, second by Fillmore, discussion.
Thank you to the Madison Foundation. The work that they do is really so helpful in our community, so thank you.
yeah, I'll second that.
I'll third that. Thank you. Phil, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions, the motion carries. All right, so we have discuss and take action to approve a request from the police department to move funds from the capital improvement program, police vehicle reserve fiscal 25, fiscal 23 for replacement of administrative police vehicle pending Board of Selectmen approval. Can I get that formal motion?
So moved.
Motion made Katie, seconded by Fillmore, discussion. I know the chief's here. Chief, you want to just give us a quick synopsis there?
Hi, good morning. What I'd like to do is, in fiscal year in 21, we did replace the K9 car, so we might remember that conversation. And I did do one at the time in the past, so we're scheduled for the next cycle, which is the off period, where we don't pay this payment on frontline patrol vehicles, we generally buy administrative, or that time for the K9 car. I have an opportunity to buy a leftover 22 electric police vehicle. It's fully outfitted with the exception of our radio. We're going to charge $250 additional for the radio. The company's MHQ is multi-city state bid on TAS from the state of Connecticut. I'm asking is that we move the replacement schedule off 2025 to its present time, so first.
Is there a amount you have on that sheet?
Sorry.
Is there a amount on there?
The
The amount.
total amount is 59,576. And the additional 250, I'll pay out of my administrative. Placement line.
Was this originally in CIP?
What's that?
Was this originally in CIP as part of the vehicle replacement
Yes, no,
system?
Yeah, just moving it up.
So it moves it up.
I think opportunistic for electric, it's a chance to launch a pilot program, just
Yeah.
to see how, if this is gonna be more administrative use, not, response use, but it gives the department a chance to test out an electric vehicle, so.
And it coincides with their will.
Install- Yeah, we're actually installing with that grant, they're installing a charging station at the. So.
We're probably going to add additional markings to it and use it in conjunction. Yes, I will.
Oh, wow, great. Teaching tool as well.
So like the question for the amount was, and I think it's a good
Yeah.
thing, but Stacy, we probably should put that in the motion, the 59,576 from this.
Yeah.
So we have the motion in a second, I just amended motion, Fillmore, if you mind to add the dollar amount to move from fiscal 25 to fiscal 23.
Yes, I moved to amend the motion to include the dollar amount of 59,576.
Move from fiscal, okay, I get a second on the amendment,
Second.
discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, all those in favor on the amendment, we're gonna do that first, to move the, make the dollar amount 59,576. I'm saying aye.
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 Any opposed, abstention, the motion carries. We also have the original motion to move it from fiscal 25 to fiscal 23. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, abstentions, that motion carries. Thank you. Review of the financials. I know with the back of the packet is the fund balance. Fillmore, I always expect you to say something here, so please don't let me down.
I will never let you down.
I know you won't.
Um, in the financials, I noticed that we did some transfers out of the snow account, 9,000 for something, and then 1,200, almost 1,300. That still leaves $59,000 in the snow account.
We also moved money to gas and oil.
What?
We also moved money to gas and oil from the snow.
Oh, okay.
We weren't expecting snow, were you?
I don't know.
I was looking at Okay, maybe I misread the report.
It's being approved today, so it's not in the plan.
Oh, okay.
Good job. Bill. I like it. Good catch.
Eagle eye.
Yeah.
All right, so I will,
He makes. me nervous.
so,
I'm like, well, then that's one that now with the new, the new charter doesn't go to a full vote, it's now it's below. That's the part out that it's, it was there, Merton, that, right, yeah, right, yeah,
so anyway, well done.
yeah.
And then, as I look at the fund balance report, again, well done with all the, underspending, over collection, on the, including on the, interest of our, holdings. And I'm, looking forward to, maybe next time, Mr. Chairman, talking again about, having another nice bump on the fireman's pension, which will benefit all of Madison citizens for years to come.
You never disappoint, Bill Moore, let me tell you. Any other comments on the financials? Katie or Justin?
Not from me.
Nothing, thanks.
Thank you. Citizens' comments, anybody from the public would like to speak? Anybody there? Once, I mean, on the virtual, not there. Second time. Third, public information session is closed. I would like, no more.
No comments.
Okay, any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, Mike. Meetings, all in favor, say aye.
Ah.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning, 9/11.
Record time.
Good job. Good job.